Hello everyone, welcome to Jennifer's Sewing and Creativity. If it's your first time joining my channel, welcome. If you're a previous subscriber or you're coming from a previous video on my channel, welcome back. So in today's video, we're going to continue on with the Calico Cats quilt. But first I would like to say thank you to all of the new subscribers. We are almost at 500 subscribers. Currently, as I'm filming this, we are at 489. And thank you to all of you who have subscribed, who have commented, who have liked my videos. I appreciate all of you. And I'm just so excited to keep the channel growing. And there is Luna, the crafty kitty, coming up to say hello. Okay, come on. Let's get over here. Come on. Loon. Okay, what was that all about? Okay, so I'm trying to teach Luna that she's got her own spots up on the desk. She's got a spot way up here above my machine, and she's out of the way. And I think she's going to decide to lay down right there. We will move her as we start sewing though. She's okay for now. Also, for those of you who do not know, Luna is the video YouTube channel mascot. I call her Luna the Crafty Kitty. So you will see her in videos quite often. Huh. Good girl. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and quit yammering and we're going to jump right into it. And in the first video, what we did is I talked about all of our fabric requirements, and the main fabric you will need is 3 packages of 5-inch charm squares, or what you can do is you can cut your fabric from yardage like I did. Okay, and then what we did is we proceeded with step 1, and step 1 had a little note in it, and then we proceeded on to cut all of our fabric and then subcut the pieces. And in the second video I went on to step 2, and that was making your left facing cats, which are these blocks here. And you can see that the cat is facing to the left. And I went ahead and showed how to make 1 block, and then I proceeded to go ahead and make the 9 remainder blocks. And then I showed you at the end of the video what those looked like. Today what we're going to do is we are going to continue on, and we're going to move on to step 3, which is your right facing cats, which I have right here. So we see our left face, our left facing, and then our right facing. And the only difference of the 2 blocks is all this portion is the same, but what you're doing is you're just putting the tail and the background portion. For the left face, it'll be on the right. For the right face, it'll be on the left. All the fabric requirements are the same, but we're going to go ahead and go over those again, and then I will move to the second camera and I will show you on the machine as we sew those. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you what those pieces are. We are going to use 2 5-inch print squares. You are going to use 1 3x5 rectangle. And I'm really sorry if the lighting is off. It's a really rainy day here in New Mexico, or in the part of New Mexico where I live. I don't know what it's doing throughout the whole state, but don't get up there, little one. Stay down. Okay, so it was the 2 5-inch squares, 1 3x5 print rectangle. In mine, I used some solids in my yardage since I did cut my 5-inch squares. And the fabric that I'm using, it was a gift. The green fabric was a gift from my mom, and they were just fat quarters. So I bought the pink fabric that coordinated with it, and I added some solid pink and some solid green with it in order to have enough fabric. And then to tie the two fabrics together, I purchased this pink floral that had the pink polka dots and then the pink and green in the roses to tie everything together. Okay, so again, 2 5-inch print squares, 1 3x5-inch rectangle, 2 matching 2.5-inch squares. So you got 2 of those. Then you are going to have 1 2.5-inch by 5-inch background rectangle, which is this one here. Good girl, Loon. Okay. And then you are going to have 1 2.5-inch background square, and you're going to have 1 5-inch background square. Okay. So I am going to pause this camera. We're going to move on to the other camera, and we will be right back. Okay. So I had went over to the machine, and I was having some issues with the machine, and it wasn't letting me sew the corner, the pieces, the 2.5-inch squares to the 2.5 by 5-inch rectangle. It was really chewing up the corners, and it wasn't going underneath the machine correctly, and I was just getting frustrated, and I tried numerous times, and I said, I don't want to put this type of work out. So I'm showing you kind of here what happened, and you can see that it was just really, really chewing up those corners. So I marked the other way, and I decided that these are too chewed up for me to want to use. So I'm switching the block up, and I'm doing the green on the left and the pink on the right, and then the green, and then I'm going to try with some pink for the other portions. And I kid you not, I probably tried for 15 minutes trying to get this, and I'm just getting a little frustrated. So I had to walk away for a few minutes and come back. And I mean, I would have kept that in the video, but it was really bad, and I don't want to put you guys through watching probably over 15 minutes of me getting super frustrated and trying not to show that frustration on the video, because that's not what this channel's about. I do keep errors in the video, and I'm showing you here what was happening, but I'm just going to kind of slow down for a minute, and we're just going to go to the other camera, and I'm going to start with this piece, and we're going to sew the tail portion on this one, or this portion here where the back kind of goes down into the cat, where the tail would be. And I'm going to pause this video, and we're going to move over to the other camera, and I will be right back. Okay, so I am hoping everything will be okay here, and I have my pieces together, and I'm going to start off by holding my little tail here. And this one went really well. You can see that it's sewing fine. Okay. Okay, and you can see that that portion is just fine. I don't know why it didn't work on our small ones. And I'm going to just go ahead and finger press these, and just to save a little bit of time, you can see that I'm just finger pressing that crease into that instead of doing it with the pencil. we are going to line that up, and I'm going to start at this corner instead of down here because this gives me a little bit more to sew on. Yep, we almost made the mistake. If you guys saw that, I almost did the fabric facing both the same way. You know what? And I gotta mark it because it's just not gonna, it's too light. So I'm gonna mark it real quick. And I'm gonna mark this one real quick. Sorry about that. Okay. I think today I'm a little bit frustrated also because my husband is sick and we're trying to get him into the walk-in doctor. We don't know if he has strep throat or what, and I'm starting to feel maybe my voice you can hear a little bit hoarse. Okay, so we're going to go ahead. And that, okay, I might have found the trick to doing these. I'll show you what I mean. Instead of starting to sew in this corner, I'm going to turn it and start on this side because it just gives it a little more, I think, stability. Instead of just that tiny little corner to start off on, you have that much more. I hope that makes sense. Okay, get on there. And no problem. I can't believe I had that much frustration from these. And look, I mean, you can see, look how chewed up those are. And look, it actually took a chunk out of this corner. Oh my gosh. Okay, deep breath. Sometimes sewing just doesn't cooperate and you have to walk away for a little bit. Okay, so our next step is to cut our corners. And instead of going over to my cutting mat, on little pieces like this, what I do is I just grab my scissors and I'm just going to cut a 1/4 inch from that seam. And I'm going to show you something a little bit. In the previous video, when I was doing... Okay, so the camera battery actually just died on the other camera that is in front of the machine. So I was showing you that I just take my scissors and I cut off the ends and leave the 1/4 inch seam. And I'm just going to finger press these open. And we're going to go ahead and continue on with this camera that I'm using now. If I was to charge the other battery, it would take over an hour to, and I don't want to stop. So we're gonna, I'm sorry this video is kind of a little wishy-washy, but we're gonna go ahead and continue, and you can kind of see me working here off to the side. So you may not see the actual sewing part, but I will show you everything that I had just done. And I'm just trimming off the corner pieces for this one. And that is our tail portion. And I'm going to press that one open as well. And I need to get one of those, I'm not sure what it's called, but it's like a little roller for you to roll your seams. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take like our flying geese portion, and we're going to turn it around, and we're going to take our 2.5 or 3 inch by 5 inch piece, and we're going to sew it to that. And I'm just matching up the seams. And if you finger press it, you might kind of have to stretch it just a little bit so your edges meet. And I'm going to take it to the machine and we're going to sew that. And make sure it's lined up straight. And I hope you guys can see enough of me here. That was going over the seams. Okay, and that is what you should have there. And then you're going to take your white background piece and you're going to, let's make sure that we kind of finger press this one as well. Okay, so we're going to take our white background piece and make sure our right side's facing, and you may have to do that stretch just a little bit also. This one's matching up pretty well. Okay, and take it over. Oops, my presser foot is sticking on something under my table. I'm not sure what that was. Oh. Let's see what that was. Okay. I have my presser foot on my foot pedal on the floor on a silicone mat, and it was pushed up against something that I have underneath this, stored under the table, so it caught a little bit. Okay, so that's what that piece will look like. Okay, so then we're going to take the tail portion that is now on the left side and attach it to the part of the body. Oh, come on. The camera I am using now is plugged into a power source, and I have it plugged into the wall. The second camera that I was using, I'm unable to do that, so it's just ran off a battery. So I may have to just kind of stick with this camera. It's just a trial, the way I was kind of filming it this time. Okay. Okay, so that one is now sewn together, and what you're going to want to do now is we're going to attach our two pieces, and you want to nest your seams. So this side is going to the left, and this one is going to the right. So when you put them together, you can see that this one's going to the left, this one's going to the right. You want to nest your seams together. Okay, and you can pin that if you want. Since it's such a small piece, I usually don't have to pin it. And we're going to take that to the machine. And make sure my pieces are lined up. Make sure those are okay. And when I get to this part where I'm going to be sewing the seams, I want to definitely make sure that the one seam is facing the correct way and the other's the opposite. That's all right. Okay, and there we go. Okay, so now we have our last right-facing cat block complete, like so. You can see that the little tail is on this side, and we did 9 of these blocks, so I will show you those now. So that's that one. We have this one, and you can see that I was actually making, can you see the stitches there? A few times I actually started making a right-facing cat or a left-facing cat instead of a right-facing cat. So I had to do the seam ripper and take those out. So there's that one. We have that one. And I will be pressing these blocks before we start assembling anything else. And there's that one. This one I used a solid green on it. The green doesn't really match, but it does match in the florals, so it kind of like ties it together. This quilt's for me, so I don't mind that it's a little bit of a different green. That one. And there's block 7. Block 8. And then I use the solid again in this one. And then block 9. So you're going to have 9 right facing. We've got 9 left facing. And then what our next step is going to be is there's going to be 2 additional right facing cats in this quilt. For these 2 cats, the lighter prints make up the cat, and the background is made by swapping out the background fabric in the instructions for the 2 sets of accent background pieces that we set aside at the very beginning. Okay, so if you saw that video, it did the little note for us, and it told us to reserve those pieces. So that's where this part's going to come in. And what it did is it said to take 2 matching darker print squares and cut 1 piece. So there was 1. And then you had this would have made up a second block. And you were going to set 1 of the 2.5-inch squares aside. So what you're going to do now to make this block, let me show you what it's going to look like. So I took a darker print and set it aside, and since I'm using greens and pinks, I took a green, and then I took a pink and set it aside, and this is what our block is going to look like. Since my darker and lighter were in my main body parts of these blocks, I'm now going to use my background fabric for the body of the cat. And this is what your block is going to look like. So it's exactly the same as the right facing cats, but you're just now using a dark background. So you're going to have 2 of your background fabric squares. You're going to have a 3 by 5 rectangle. You're going to have the dark fabric 2.5 by 5-inch rectangle. You're going to take 2 2.5-inch background, original background fabric, and then 1 2.5-inch of the dark. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and mark our lines on these. Like so. And I think my husband is talking to his doctor right now. For those of you that don't know, I mentioned that he's sick. And there we go. He may have strep throat, and hopefully I'm not getting sick. My voice is a little, and my throat kind of feels a little dry. Okay. So now we have our pieces marked. Okay, so I'm going to first take one of the original background and make sure this is a directional fabric. So you can see that it's white on white, and you can definitely tell which side's which if you look close enough. Okay, so we are going to sew the tail portion. Pop over here to the machine. Okay, and that is that portion. Now we are going to take the 2.5 inch rectangle and the 2.5 inch squares, and we're going to make the flying geese portion. That is the ear portion of the cat. And I'm going to do what I did on the last one, and we're not going to mess up. I'm not going to start on this side. I'm going to start on this side. And that's working much better, and I'm not getting this issue again. Okay, so that's the first part. Then we are going to sew the second part. And I usually use this camera that we are using now for all of my filming, and I think I'm going to have to do that. The only reason why I went to the secondary camera was to save a little bit of time while filming, because this one is up here above, and I would have to take it down every time to put it here in front of the machine. And I think I'm going to just have to do that because for quality and battery issues. Okay. Okay, so there is that one. And we have the ear portions. So we're just going to take the scissors and we're going to cut off and leave a 1/4 inch . Okay, and there we have that one. And we're going to do the same thing to this one. I am going to take a quick break, and I think my husband may be leaving to go to the walk-in clinic, and I will be right back. Okay, sorry about that. I had to take a little break for a minute. My husband is going to be going into the walk-in clinic, and they're going to do some cultures on him and see if he's got strep throat. But we had to do a at-home COVID test, and he needed my help. So we just finished that. Okay, so we're going to get back to the block, and I had shown you that I just trim off with the scissors, the edges here, and I'm just going to finger press those. So, I want to, how do I want to press that one? Okay, and same with this one. And I've got my little camera here, and this is what I was doing the filming right in front of the, well, hello Luna, the filming right in front of the machine. And this is just a little Canon ELPH, PowerShot ELPH. And it takes really good photos, so I'm hoping that maybe since my filming camera is a Canon and this one is a Canon, that it'll work out. Okay, Luna, what are you doing? Okay, Luna wants some attention. So this is Luna the Crafty Kitty, for those of you that have never seen her. Is Mom taking too long filming? How about we move you aside so I can finish, okay? Okay, come on, let's go. Get up on your spot. Come on, over here. Up here. Okay, she'll sit there for a minute and then hopefully she'll get up on her little spot that she likes to sit. Okay, so we finger press these, and these are going to be the ears. We are going to sew it to the 3.5 inch, or I'm sorry, the 3 inch by 5 inch. And Luna, honey, you're gonna have to move, babe. Don't Mom, come on. Come on, go on. So to train her, I have a little really light mister bottle, and it I mean, barely sprays anything. So just to kind of train her to safely not be right near the machine when I sew. Okay, let's move those aside, and I am going to sew these two pieces together. And these are just exactly like we did the other, these blocks up here and the other ones. Okay. We're going to get this block done today sometime. Okay. Make sure it's lined up correctly. And what I like to do when it's a piece that's a little, I take my tweezers and kind of hold it down so my fingers don't get in the way. Make sure those are together. Okay, and I'm going to just chain piece these together with those still attached on the machine. And we're going to take the body portions and combine those. Make sure your right sides are facing. Okay. Okay, so we got those. Okay, clip those ones apart. I don't know if I told you when I just helped my husband take the COVID test that it was negative. I don't know if I said that. Okay, so there are the ears, and we're going to take this background portion now, and we're going to make sure that it is on the left side. So we're going to combine these two now. And I will make sure that in the next videos, the next segment of the quilt, the next step, that I switch the camera. I take that one, take this overhead one down and put in front, because I know that one does really good quality. we just may have quite a few stops and starts. Oh, my nose is itchy. Okay, and there we go. And we are going to make sure that one seam is one way. So I'm going to finger press it that way. And then this one is going the opposite way. So we're going to match our seams or nest our seams again. So one is facing the right way, one's facing the left way. And we're just going to nest the seams together and sew that portion. And I want to make sure that the seam, this seam here on that tail piece is facing towards that darker portion. Make sure these are matching. Okay. And there we go. There is our last right side facing cat. So we have, at this part, we now have our left facing cats. We have our 9 left facing cats. We have our 9 right facing cats with the white background. And then we have our 2 right facing cats with dark background. And I will press all these before our next step. In our next step, we're going to start working on the flying geese. And that one hopefully goes really well. It is a technique that I've never done before. So I'm thinking we're probably going to go slow with that. We're just gonna see what happens. So I'm sorry if this video was really long and there was a lot of stops and starts in it, but I promise in the next video we will work on that and kind of have it flow a little bit better. Until that time, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, give the video a thumbs up. Again, thank you to all of the new subscribers, and we will see you in the next video. We'll see you. Bye-bye.